Alright, so this is a video, I guess you could say kind of like a final summary just to have out there just so that people can have the information. But pretty much it's explaining the arcs and circular motions of the body, and again, just reiterating how I see it so that it's very easily comprehensible, or at least to me it is, and when explained, it seems like other people start to get it and are able to progress into that direction. So I explain everything as a pull. All muscles contract, which means that they all shorten to pretty much make motion. Now all of our joints are either pretty much circular or arcs, right? Our shoulder joints are ball and socket so that they can move around, and our elbow joints are hinges, right? So pretty much you always have these arcs in every motion. So the issue is if you push in any of your strikes, right? If you push into a punch, if you push into a hammer fist or a back fist, you're gonna get these slow motions because it's almost all shoulder motion because you're relying on that ball and socket joint along with a little bit of adjustment from the other muscles to make a linear motion, something that your body doesn't naturally want to do. But if you were to instead pull, then you're going to start using the arcs of the body without really even thinking about it. You're going to start driving from the legs using the muscular contractions of the core and the chest and shoulders and arms to make a motion. So just to kind of visually represent that, if I were to push forward, like if I had a wall in front of me and I'm pushing it with my fist, if I were to try to drive that motion forward, it's going to look like this, right? I'm going to try to drive my leg forward. I'm going to try to drive my arm forward. So a lot of my torso is more so maintaining position. It's not really contributing, and so there's just not as much motion going on there. But now if instead of this push forward, we imagine I have a bungee behind me, like a cord, and I'm trying to pull it forward, suddenly this motion is going to start to change, right? I'm going to drive from my leg, but this leg is also going to start to engage, and this is going to start to try to rotate my torso. And so I'm trying to use my legs to pull it forward into this rotation. My core is going to start trying to yank. My chest is going to yank, and so my arm is going to contribute as well in the end, right? So I'm trying to pull something forward rather than trying to push and drive and thrust forward. It's not going to be as effective if I'm trying to go in a straight line. But using these rotations, the rotation of the legs, rotation of the torso and the core, and the rotation of the upper body limbs, is going to create a bunch of different arcs, which is going to give me a lot more speed and power. So if I try to do two hammer fists back and forth, and I tried to push it, it's going to be a lot slower than if I try to pull it, because if I push it, again, it's the drive of the leg and mostly just this rotation of the torso and a little bit of shoulder. My arms aren't really engaged and my core is not very engaged. It's mostly going to be the legs and hips that are really doing a lot of the damage there. But if instead I pull the motion, it can fall up a lot faster, and each of these hits will still hit harder because more muscles will actually be involved in generating the power necessary for the motion. And it's the same thing with the punch, right? If I'm throwing a hook, then I don't want to push the hook around. I don't want to go like that, then it's all shoulder. I'm not involving the chest enough, which is going to be a large part of what connects your arm into that hit to the rest of the body. So I want to make sure that I'm pulling it, right? That it's like when you make contact, you're trying to pull it through, not trying to push and drive it through. You want to pull it through. Same thing with every other motion as well, right? If I'm throwing an uppercut, I want to pull it. If I'm throwing a straight punch, I want to pull it forward. All right, that's all.